All right. This time we have the charcoal and paper so that I can explain to you visually the concept that I was talking about. For example, the line itself, the quality of line, etc., the difference between drawing and design. And I told you that design derives from disegno, which is changing, transforming. I love this word. Transforming what you see, the sign. Okay? And all the phenomena in this universe, they are signs in a Platonic world. Because I was saying all this concept of centric world, where you are the center of it. There's need for ladders, to go up and up and up and get closer to the essence of the world. There's a really beautiful book that I read. It's called The Mystical Astrology According to Ibn Arabi, where we have a thorough explanation of differences between heliocentric and geocentric conception of the universe. In the introduction, the foreword, there's a really nice question. Let me read it for you. It says, as the term astrology means the practical application of astronomy to human use, our response to it must necessarily hinge on our understanding of what it means to be human. What it means to be human and how we can demonstrate that through drawing, designing, and the figure. So the reason I decided to plan this course using human figure as the object to study is exactly this, because if you learn to draw and design the human body, it's a way to gain knowledge about it. Figure, which means also number, geometry. All right. Line is the first visual element that we love to talk about. Each line that you make has two separate aspects. First one is the quality. Of course, the second one could be the rhythm, the quantity of lines that you use. But here, again, I can tell you other things about the quality. For example, thickness. The thickness of each line is really important. I can draw, look, this soft, thick line is different from a narrow, you see, a tiny, dark line here. They have different meanings and feelings as well. So you have to learn how to control these two type of lines. So there's thickness, and then the other part is darkness of your lines. So thickness and darkness. How thick, thin, dark, or light you want your lines to be when you're drawing. So let me use a tissue here and clean up a bit of words that This is the good thing about charcoal, because you can make up space always on top of your drawings. All right, so you can have, when you mix up darkness and thickness in the line quality, you can mix up light, thick. Look, this is a light, thick line. You can have a dark, thick line. Look, these are different. And through this difference, you can create depth. Okay. Which one is closer to you? This or that? For sure this one, the darker line. The darker the form or shape is, the closer it seems. This is a rule that you have to learn. So this square seems closer to you because it's darker, and the others, they kind of dissolve into the the white space on paper. Then we can have a light, thin line like this and a dark, narrow line. So far I told you 4 different possibilities. What we use usually to start a drawing is this line. I want it to be clear. When you draw and you want to sketch, this is the perfect line because it's thin, clear, and it's light. So you are diminishing the possibilities to have any vague and unclear shape, or visual message. So your communication visually is going to be clear. And clarity is the most important characteristic that your drawing should have. All right, so let's recap. You have line, okay, line as a visual element. There's also another book that I would love to recommend to you. It's called A Primer of Visual Literacy by Donis A. Dundas. In a chapter, it talks about line itself, and I love the definition of line here. So let me read that to you. So it goes, line is the indispensable means for making visible what cannot be seen, what does not exist except in the imagination. Line is also a tool for notation systems, writing, for example. Writing, map making, electric symbols, and music are all examples of symbol systems in which line is the most important element. But in art, line is the essential element of the drawing, which is a notation system that does not stand for something else symbolically, but does capsulize visual information. So when you learn this different characteristics, then you can encapsulate much better the visual information, boiling it down to a state of reduction where all superfluous visual information has been stripped away and only the essential remains. This spurness has a highly dramatic effect in drawings or dry points, woodcuts, etchings, and lithographs. All right, there are two words that I would pick up: reduction and essential. If we were talking about the essence is away from appearance. So the apparent world, the visible world, has a lot of details, information. You cannot notate all of that. And you have to reduce, the what you want to draw into few elements, which is line here. Okay, and focus only on the essential. Let me add this word as well, essential. Okay, and keep away from any unnecessary detail in your drawing. Don't focus on the outer border of the figure or the eyelashes, the eyebrows. If you want to draw the portrait, start with seeing that as something, as an ellipse, for example. Let me hold this here. All right. If you want to draw the portrait, don't start with drawing the eyes and the nose. That's not the way you have to see that. You should start with seeing face as an oval shape. Okay, and this is the right approach, where you focus on the essence of the form. It has this upside down egg, oval shape, and after that you try to see what are the proportions, where is the placement of different elements: eyes, nose, lips, eyebrows, eyes. And then you start to build your image. Okay? Then you can add the hair. And if you want to introduce, for example, light, if you have the light source here, look. I'm gonna have this form of light and shadow in your drawing. This simple way of seeing and focusing only on essentials enables you to get away from unnecessary details and focus on what you want to say, the emotions you want to convey to the audience. Okay? It was a really simple example I wanted to show you. So let's come back to the line itself. You have the thick lines, really soft, you see, thick line. And this difference creates a really interesting spatial quality. And then you have this narrow, dark line and a lighter one. Okay, so let's keep up with these four types of line. There's another aspect to line itself, which is the visual kind of speed, where you have, or let's say the visual movement. You can have a slow or a fast visual movement. If you draw a long line like this, you have a really fast visual movement. If you do this, you have a slow visual movement. So bringing one of the teachings of Leon Battista Alberti in his book De Pictura, he says there are three ways of connecting these two dots together. One is through a straight line, second one is through a curve like this, a third one is a sinuous movement. And this is what I'm going to actually teach you and demonstrate how you can use this system of notation in gesture drawing, which is the next video. So next we're gonna look at gesture, okay, which is where you have to focus on the essence of movement in the human body. All right. I don't want to make this longer anymore. Let's stop here and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much and bye.